Hey everybody, hopefully all of you are doing well. I have had a couple of weeks that have been quite tough at work, but I am here to bring you guys some more prep meals. Today I'm going to be making some turkey meatloafs with some side dishes, and this video was kind of long. It's actually longer than I intended, but why not get into it? I'm going to show you what I prepared last week. We're going to start with our cabbage. I bought a whole Savoy cabbage that I chopped up, except for like maybe a fourth of it I saved because I had some soup going. But anyway, I chopped it up in rather large pieces, and then I had about 3 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter in a large skillet over about medium-high heat. And I chopped that up with a red onion. That's actually a half of a red onion, and also some smoked paprika and some seasoning. You can season it up any way you like. We're just going for a saute here. A lot of these recipes in here, they're like no recipe recipes. Season it up the way you like it. Taste it as you go if you have to. That way you'll know it's seasoned the way you like. And just saute that up until it's the tenderness that you desire. Yeah, what I didn't realize about these prep meal videos is that I'm going to be prepping more so I can show you. However, I do need to reel this back a little bit because I'm doing quite a few components, but it's okay. And I actually took my time and shot this video over 2 days. I decided to make some turkey meatloaf. This is 2 pounds of lean ground turkey with some sauteed vegetables, panko breadcrumbs, an egg. I have seasoning in there, anywhere from thyme and rosemary. I have some salt, smoked paprika, Worcestershire sauce. Did I say that right? And just some seasoning. I already have a video up, so I'm going to link that for you guys to see. And I just mix all of that together. I also put a little extra olive oil in there just to make sure we have the moisture. Remember, when you're making meatloaf, if you want to see how it tastes before you bake it, make a very small patty. Here's some footage from one of my existing videos. This video is up. This is my meatloaf video where I made a beef and a turkey meatloaf. And I just made the patty and I put it in the skillet to give it a taste. Let it fully cook, and then you can taste it to see if your meatloaf is headed in the right direction and you still have a chance to re-season and all that other good stuff. So once I was happy with my seasoning and how my meatloaf tasted, I just took a half cup measure and I measured every one of my meatloaves. That way I know all of them are the same. Now, I already knew ahead of time I wasn't going to bake these like small loaves. What I was going to do was actually brown them in the skillet. So they're going to end up looking like patties, but that was okay with me. And what I did was I patted them out and I made a little hole in the center. Whenever you make burgers or patties like this, make sure you press a little small well in the middle because that'll help the patties stay the same size and they won't shrink up on you. So I just browned them on each side. I didn't let them cook all the way through because I was going to let them finish in the oven. So I took the same skillet that I actually sauteed the cabbage in and I just used that skillet a few times, and I could see it was getting kind of dark. I said, okay, it's time to make some gravy. So I put some chopped mushrooms, and I kept the onions out of the gravy, but I also have a gravy recipe that you can use. Because I was using onions in the other side dishes, I decided to just use onion powder in my gravy. So I just browned up my mushrooms, and then I added about 3 tablespoons of flour. Let that get nice and brown. Cooked it for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then I went on and added my chicken stock. Now, I know that skillet looks ugly. Don't it look ugly? But that is flavor on the bottom of your pan, and it'll help you clean the pan, because if you went to try to wash it like that, you'd have the hardest time. But deglaze your pan by pouring some liquid in there and making a gravy. Just go ahead and take advantage of it. And after I browned that flour, I just went on and added some liquid and started to scrape up the bottom of the pan. And as long as that browning that you have on the bottom of the skillet is not burned, you can definitely use the brown bits at the bottom of the pan to help flavor your sauce or your gravy. And then all you have to do is season up your gravy the way you like. You can make it spicy, or you can add some poultry seasoning, anything you like. Give it a taste, and then once it's done, now we're going to pour it over our patties that are not fully cooked, or I should say our meatloaves. Pour it over there, and then I knew I was going to finish it in the oven. So my oven was going at about 375. I was just going to cover it and let it finish cooking in the actual gravy. I think I let it cook for about 20 minutes because the meatloaves didn't have that far to go. So give them a cover. And I had a question about that. If you notice, I do cover my food with parchment paper first and then foil, and that's just a personal thing. I really don't like my food touching foil that much if I can avoid it, so I will put parchment in between. And then when the meatloaves came out, They were cooked all the way through. They were over 165 degrees internally. And I was done for the night. I let these cool down and I put them in the fridge so I could do all of the meal prep the following day with the other side dishes. It was too late at night. Had to shut it down. So the next morning when I got up, after I had my coffee, because nothing happens in this house without coffee, I went on and took some tomatoes that I had in my fridge. Those are the tomatoes that are larger, just larger than cherry tomatoes, and I put some olive oil, salt, pepper, and some dried herbs de Provence. And those herbs are mixed herbs with even a little lavender in them also. Just season those up. I wanted to just use those and get rid of them. If you are vegan, these are some good methods or a good recipe for you to put over pasta. Just roast the tomatoes really quickly and they're excellent. I also boiled some beets. We've dealt with beets before on my channel here. We had them roasted. I just wanted to use some basil olive oil over the beets just to make a quick beet salad. You can eat it warm, room temperature, or cold. It doesn't matter. And this olive oil and balsamic vinegar I actually got in Solvang. I actually belong to a club because I was really interested. This is a cranberry pear balsamic vinegar. It is so good. The combination of the two together make an excellent dressing. Just the two with a little salt and pepper, boom. I mean, delicious. And they have all types of flavors. And I joined while I went on vacation, but that's another story. I wanted some more acidity, so I added some fresh lemons from my tree. And that was it for the beet salad. Really simple and easy. Then I moved on to my sauteed mushrooms and spinach. So I had this big 2-pound bag of spinach in my refrigerator that I definitely didn't want to lose. So I took some mushrooms. That's about maybe 2 cups of sliced mushrooms over medium-high heat with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil or olive oil, whatever you want to use. And half of an onion. And I just sauteed those up first until the onions were kind of translucent. And of course I browned those mushrooms first because they absorb a lot of oil. So let your mushrooms go first until they're nice and brown. Then, as you can see, I added my onions. Give them a season. And then you're going to go ahead and add a little bit of garlic. And I sauteed that up for about a minute, just until the garlic got nice and fragrant. And then I went on and added my spinach. As you guys can see, as you're sauteing or cooking, you want to season each layer. That way, you know, you're gradually seasoning the dish and you also know when to stop. So all of that is left up to you. You have complete control. As you can see, the pan is not heavily laced with oil. So you are also in control of the fat content that goes into your food. Once my spinach was done, my tomatoes were done in the oven and I roasted them at about 400 degrees just until they started to char a little bit. And then just take them out, I let them rest. And once they were done, I just decided to add them to the plates. I put them on top of the spinach. So like I said, you can also use those as sauce for a pasta or a pasta primavera dish. You can add those. So I'm just adding some of the side dishes that we made to the pre-prep meals. I made some mashed potatoes also, but that's a separate video because that video is a request. And for those of you wondering why I didn't put mashed potatoes in every dish, it's because he does not eat starch past a certain time at night. He has to eat double vegetable. That's just him. Anyway, it's time for viewer shoutouts. Viewer shoutouts is when you guys make my recipes and you send me pictures. That way I can give you a shout out. So first up, we have Sheaver Jones, who made the caramel pecan pound cake. Talk about spotlight. That is a nice picture. I love it. Denise Thompson took it all the way back to 2011 and made some lasagna rolls. She said this is one of her favorite recipes and she makes it quite often. Naomi Waters, she made 2 lemon cream cheese pound cakes. Ashley Picard made homemade sweet potato pies. Those look really good. All I need is a slice and a cup of coffee, Ashley. Just call me, let me know. And finally, we have Nina Ragland, who's showing off her pot roast and mashed potatoes. You guys are really getting into this. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for joining me. You know I appreciate it when you come cook with me and hang out. Don't forget this recipe and others can be found at gdseasoning.com. And I'll see you guys next time.